People of God, listen. I want to talk to you about something. Recognizing the signs of envy. Okay? I want to talk to you about recognizing the signs of envy. Now, envy is a very, very dangerous spirit. I want to go to, I want to read you the scripture here from Proverbs 27:4. It says, in the King James Version, it says, wrath is cruel and anger is outrageous, but who can stand against envy? The scriptures even said that wrath is cruel, anger is outrageous. You can tell when you see an angry person, you know, but who can stand against envy? Envy is something that hides itself. It's very subtle, it's very dangerous, you know. And a lot of times, if you've been betrayed by somebody who was envious. And an envious person, a person that carried the spirit of envy, they can hide when they angry with you. They have inside of their mind like a get back mentality. You know, you can do an envious person. Sometimes they're very easily offended at certain things. Like they can hold in. They can hold in. If you do something to them, they can hold it in and you won't even know. You can offend an envious person and they can be upset with you, but they won't tell you. They'll hold it in, and inside of their mind, it's like, "Oh, I'm gonna get them back. I see that I'm gonna get them back." And you can be walking, you can be having dinner with this person, and they're holding something in their heart against you. That's a spirit of envy. That's not love. Okay, let's look at what the definition of envy is. The definition of envy here says a desire to have a quality, a possession, or a desirable attribute belonging to somebody else, right? So somebody can envy you for you. You don't have to be rich. You don't have to drive in nice cars and have a big nice house. You can have folk. It could be somebody who have more money than you. They can have more success than you. They can have more material things than you, and they can envy the fact that you walk around with a smile on your face. They can envy the fact that you have people who are coming to you praising you over the gift that God has put inside of you. They can envy the way that you interact with people. Folk can envy the way that you pray. Folk can envy the way that you can go inside the scriptures and just help people understand. Folk can envy you for things that, you know, that really don't even, that an average person, a person who don't carry the spirit of envy, or any reasonable minded, a good hearted human being will never think about someone in a negative way. Folk can envy you because you married and they single. Folk can envy you because you single and they miserable in their marriage and they miss the single life. Folk can envy you because you don't have no kids and they got kids. Folk, it's so many things folk can envy you about. But I'm gonna tell you, recognizing the signs of envy, and this is from personal experiences, okay? And sometimes you don't, if you live to survive that spirit of envy where it's been attached to you, then you blessed. God's favor is on you. You know, a lot of times when folk envy you and you get away from them, they will do things. They will try to destroy you, assassinate your character. They will lay snares for your feet. But going forward in life, if you've gotten over a situation like that, you need to recognize the signs of envy. Envious people, sometimes they will stay close to you to learn you, and they may be quiet, you know, they may be learning how you move and try to copy you. You notice an envious person, they will copy you to the T. Now, I'm not saying we don't learn from people we admire. I learn from people. I got big brothers and big sisters who I admire, you know, and I take pages out of their book and I give them credit where I give them honor where honor is due. You know, we look up to folk. When you got a pure heart, you can praise folks out of all sincerity. You know, you can tell folk how they've helped you. You can tell folk when you appreciate it. You don't have, there's nothing in you that makes you feel less than by giving someone else their honor. An envious person won't do that. An envious person feels like majority of people are beneath them, right? They walk around with this swollen head, this high chip on their shoulder. They feel like they just above everybody and people so below them. You will never find people who are envious just praising and giving sincere honor to others that make them, you can feel when somebody really really appreciates you. You will never find an envious person doing that. An envious person will try to mimic you or learn from you or take from you, and they'll act like they don't even know you. I'm telling you now, I've lived this. An envious person will watch you, and every that thing that they admire, if they admire something about you, they will try to take that or think that they stealing that from you and act like they just possess that quality of their own. Meanwhile, the whole time it's like you're their understudy or something, and they're not giving you any props. And if you're like if you a bit naive, or you just somebody who just busy, you don't really think like that. If you don't, it's hard to think wicked when you ain't got wicked motives and wicked intentions. You just be about your business. You probably just think nothing of it. You may have somebody on the outside that say, hey, look, so and so, they want what's on the inside of you. They want that. And you be like, nah, don't talk like that. You know what I'm saying? Don't talk negative like that. Sometimes don't be so quick to brush people off. If you have somebody who is neutral on the outside and they telling you that, I see somebody, this person, they feeling some way about you. They don't like how you doing this. They don't like how you breaking down the scriptures. They don't like how you pray. They don't like how you do this right here, right? Sometimes there's somebody on the outside who's neutral, and they ain't got no hidden agenda. They ain't trying to just break up your friendship or break up something. Just sometimes listen and pray about that thing. Because I can guarantee you there been sometimes signs probably be in your spirit that you just overlook because maybe you love the person, or maybe you wanted what you wanted it to be, or you may want it to befriend this person, or you want that friendship to work. You just overlook certain things. No, baby. When it comes to that envy, you got to pay attention to the signs of envy. An envious person, they can even do things for you. They can even do nice things for you to throw you off. Sometimes people will give you stuff to get you to let your guard down. Sometimes people don't, not everybody now, because there are some people who have a good heart. I'm a very giving person, and people aren't used to that. A lot of times people don't miss me until they lose me. I'm telling you now, but I'm a very giving person. I've always been like that. It makes me feel joy to give. But I'm talking about the envious person will do things for you. They will do stuff for you just to get you to let your guard down. It won't be, how can I say it? It may be something like, just like when you least expect something, and it may make you feel happy or do something at the moment, but as time go on, you'll see that that person is really not supportive of you. You get what I'm saying? Like, you'll see there's really no true bond or support or love coming from them. An envious person will ignore you, intentionally. You have to test the spirit of envy. An envious person can really get close to you and learn what triggers you. They learn what triggers you, what makes you happy, what makes you smile, what makes you sad, and they will try to push those buttons to bring you down mentally. They will try to work against you physically. They will try to work against you spiritually. You have to be very, very careful and very prayerful when you're dealing with folk, and when you're meeting folk, and when you have folk, like I said, that are close to you, that are showing certain signs. The one way to test the spirit of envy in an individual is love. Perfect love casts out all fear. Perfect love casts out all fear. An envious person will never show you the true qualities of love. They don't possess a heart of love. You see, right and wrong can never agree. Light and darkness can never mix. That's just like diesel and water. If you pour diesel fuel, water in a container with diesel fuel, it will separate itself into a bubble. The water will separate. Oil and vinegar won't mix. You understand? The spirit of envy and the spirit of love, it won't mix. Now, one who is envious, they may try to show certain qualities, right? But you can only pretend for so long. If you got a connection with somebody and you feel like they envy you, test their love. And what love feels like. Love is very supportive. It's patient. It's kind. You know what love feels like. It's only the opposite of love is hate, right? Hate, hate. It comes. The qualities of hate is bitterness, you know, opposition, doubt, always making you try to make you second guess yourself. A hateful person will never be able to make you feel secure. A hateful person will never be able to really encourage you from a sincere place. It'll be like a backhanded kind of thing, give and take, you know. You'll never be able to enjoy a full you never be able to just come into harmony with a hateful individual. Not saying no, none of us is perfect. None of us is perfect. But you got to begin to recognize the difference between love and hate, right? And you can identify the spirit of envy by testing it to see if that individual possesses love. God is love. God is love. And you can have folk who possess a spirit of envy, who stay in the four corners of a building called church every Sunday, who worship, who work in the church, who hold a position in the church, who do things in the church. I mean, bona fide church member, and be working iniquity against another child of God. And they will look you up. These people will do evil, wicked things. I'm telling you now. You have to learn how to test the spirit and pray for sharp discernment. Who can stand against envy? An envious person will set you up to be murdered. An envious person, when they have your information, they know your address, you got to be careful of these things and watch these type of people. Watch them. An envious person cannot love you. Recognize the signs of envy. An envious person will sit back and watch you, and they can be real patient. They can watch you for a long time, and they can be working against you behind the scenes for a long time, and you never know it. You never know it. That's why when God reveals something to you in your spirit, don't second guess it. Ask God, well, how should I handle this? How should I handle this? And if you know you've given somebody your information, too much of your information, and now you're beginning to see that spirit, it's okay. God will protect you. God will cover you. God can remove folk from this earth. When you are pleasing to God, He'll protect you, but you got to be careful. You can't just throw yourself out there. And when you realize, I remember my mom used to always say, sometimes when you don't realize you don't put your hand in that lion's mouth. They ain't bit down yet, but you realize you got your little hand in the lion's mouth. You got to be real careful. Just slowly ease your hand back out of that lion's mouth. And don't do that no more. Be careful, and that go for me too. I'm learning too, when you done been burned one time, you got to learn how not to step back in that fire no more. You got to learn how to not step back in that fire. It's sad. It's unfortunate. But, and sometimes when folk can know when they got that spirit of envy on them. They know the way I'm feeling about this girl, this ain't right. The way I'm feeling about them, it ain't right. Why I'm feeling, what did they do to me? And you can be kind. You can be kind. You can give. You can do nice things for somebody. You can give from the sincerity of your heart. Sometimes people, when they feel like they can't match what you do, and they know you a good person. They can know you a good person. But if they know their heart ain't pure, they can't be loyal to you. They see you doing good. They'll try to do things to you sometimes just to run you off because they know they ain't good. Rather than just, be an adult or communicate with you about certain things. It's sad. It's unfortunate. But folk will do that. They will try to turn other folk against you. An envious person, they don't like when they see other people praising you. I'm telling you now. And it don't matter what. These people can have high professions, being different type of envy. That spirit of envy have no limit. That spirit of envy can be on folk who hold different types of multiple degrees. It can be on anybody. And if they're not willing to look in the mirror and do their internal work and know the way I'm feeling about this person is not right, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to try to sabotage this, but I'm not going to try to set this person up. I'm not going to try to dim their light. I'm not going to try to make them fall like that. You know, who can stand against envy? When you recognize the signs of envy, pray, forgive, and just ask God, help me. Ease my hand out of the lion's mouth if you already got your hand in the lion's mouth. And don't do that no more. But recognize the signs of envy. An envious person will learn from you, will copy you. They'll act like they don't even know you. They'll never give you no sincere praise. They won't acknowledge you. They can't stand you. That's how bad they want what's inside of you. And it's crazy. And you'll have folk who got discerning eyes who sit back and watch this thing that may try to say something. A lot of times people won't say nothing. People just go about their business now because, it's not easy to talk to folk these days. Some folk are not very well receptive of things, and then a lot of folk don't want to be caught up in no drama. They tell you something and then you go back and question the person. You might have a big mouth, but pray for discernment. And if folk do come up and say something, hey, I'm not trying to get in business, but I watched this so-and-so, this seemed like this and that. Just take note. Okay. You ain't got to say, get upset. Just be like, okay, I'll be mindful of that. And that's all. That spirit of envy is very, very dangerous. It cannot show true love. That it can pretend, it can try to replicate, but that spirit of envy, it ain't got no true love. Love is supportive. And a person who envy you, a lot of times, let me tell you, they'll never be able to sit and have a genuine conversation with you. They'll never be able to really, really connect with you. Like, you can connect with some folk, even if you ain't talked to some folk in a long time and you connect with them and feel like y'all ain't never missed a beat. Just genuine hearted folk. An envious person, they could be in your midst and sometimes they won't even look you in the eye. They'll look down. Or either if they do look in the eye, because some of them spirits, they have a boldness about themselves. Sometimes they might look you in the eye, but you won't never feel really connected. There'll always feels like something to disconnect. And most of the time, like I said, these people, they won't really want to sit and talk with you. They don't want to build a bond. They can't build nothing genuine with you because deep down inside their heart, they envy you. They envy you. So what can you build? What can you talk? You know how you build solid connections and trust? The more you learn, the more you talk to somebody, you get to learn them. An envious person, they ain't want to sit down and talk to you. They want to watch you. They want to watch you. They want to learn what triggers you. They want to learn what makes you smile, what makes you sad. They'll use their words to murder you. Words are spirit. Folk can use their word to stab you in your heart. Folk can use their word to hurt you, to cut you, make you bleed spiritually. That's why sometimes you listen to certain folk and they feel like, Dad, why am I feeling my joy just sucking out of me? I'm energy just gone. You got to be mindful of your ear gates. And some folk know that. The Bible says a kind word is soothing to the soul, baby. But an envious word, with that spirit of envy, even though some words can even be coming out, they're seeming like, I'm hearing all the right things, but why am I feeling a cut in my spirit? That's because you are detecting something that is very hidden, something that's hidden, evil, that spirit. A spirit of envy, it cannot hide itself behind words or actions. And God sits high, he looks low. When your ways are pleasing to God and you're doing right, God will always protect you. But it's sad that some folk will allow these spirits to use them. It's very sad because you know what's inside of you. Folk know what's inside of them. You know if your heart don't feel right towards somebody. You know if that person really, really did something to you. And these days and times, folk is grown. A righteous person, if you do something to a righteous person, they're going to want to sit down and talk to you at some point. A righteous person is going to say, listen, when you get a chance, I want to talk to you about something if you don't mind. I know I do. I ain't going to sit there and hold nothing on my heart against nobody. Either I'm going to forgive you if you let it go. But when folk keep doing stuff, it's like, And then a lot of times they're not going to want to talk to you. When folk ain't got good intentions for you, they're not going to want to talk to you because they don't want to be held accountable. They don't want to apologize. They ain't sorry. They don't want to deal with it. You know, a righteous person, when you wrong somebody, you can apologize. If somebody brings something to your attention and you know you wrong, you can apologize sincerely and try not to do that thing no more, because if you love that person, you don't want to hurt nobody that you love. You don't want to hurt nobody, period. Not intentionally, you know. But people, God, recognize the signs of envy. Envious people will intentionally ignore you to be mean, you know. They will take from you. They will never give you honor. They will never, you know, sincerely praise you. They will never encourage you. And they cannot love you. Love and envy cannot reside in the same place. It's two opposites. Test the spirit. All right? I love you. Have a blessed day. All right? Know that we are the light of the world. We can never let our lights grow dark. We got to keep shining bright. And we know that the blood of Jesus is the only blood that has some power. Recognize the signs of envy. All right? Anger is outrageous, right? Now, what does the scripture say in Psalm 27:4? You read it. Let me read it again. What was that? Proverbs 27:4. Wrath is cruel, anger is outrageous, but who is able to stand before envy? Recognize the signs of envy, people of God. Recognize the signs of envy. And when you recognize that spirit, stay far away from it. And if you got your hand in the lion's mouth, ask God to help you ease your hand back on out the lion's mouth. Forgive and pray and move on. An envious person will never be able to love you. All right. Have a blessed day.